Have you ever spent hours studying, only to forget everything when you needed it most? What if I told you that your own mind, the most sophisticated computer in the universe, is deliberately sabotaging your learning efforts? Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover might completely transform how you approach learning forever. Your brain is playing a dangerous trick on you every single day. It's creating an illusion of understanding when, in reality, you haven't learned anything at all. Has this ever happened to you? You read a chapter, close the book with confidence, thinking, "I've got this," only to draw a complete blank during an exam or important presentation. The truth is terrifying yet fascinating. Most of us don't actually forget what we've learned. The harsh reality is that we never truly understood it in the first place. This isn't your fault. It's how our brains are wired. The human mind evolved to conserve energy, not to master complex subjects. It prefers the path of least resistance, creating a false sense of comprehension when all you've really achieved is mere recognition. Think about it like looking at an old photograph. You instantly recognize the image, but that doesn't mean you remember the full story behind it. Similarly, recognizing terms and concepts doesn't equal understanding them. Your brain is essentially patting itself on the back for doing the absolute minimum required. What's even more surprising is that this deception happens without your awareness. Your mind convinces you that familiarity equals mastery, when they couldn't be further apart. This explains why cramming for exams works temporarily, but leaves you empty-handed weeks later. You've trained your brain to recognize, not understand. The solution lies in something counterintuitive: simplification. When faced with complexity, the brain's natural reaction is resistance and avoidance. But when you translate difficult concepts into simpler terms, when you make the abstract concrete and the complex accessible, something magical happens. Your mind stops running away and starts getting curious. Simplification isn't about dumbing down information. It's about speaking the language your brain naturally understands. It's like converting a foreign language into your mother tongue. Suddenly, everything makes sense. The question is, how can we use this knowledge to revolutionize the way we learn? But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. The secret to outsmarting your deceptive brain involves a technique so powerful yet so simple that most educational institutions completely ignore it. It's a method developed by Nobel Prize-winning physicist Richard Feynman, and it starts with understanding that there's a profound difference between recognizing information and truly comprehending it. If you found value in these insights about how our brains actually learn, hit that subscribe button to join our community of lifelong learners. I share powerful techniques that transform how you absorb and retain information. Techniques most educational institutions never teach. The secret to outsmarting your deceptive brain lies in what I call the teaching transformation. Here's the hidden truth that most educational systems never reveal. You don't truly learn by consuming information. You learn by creating it. When you attempt to teach a concept, even if you're still grasping it yourself, something remarkable happens in your neural pathways. Imagine this scenario. You're studying a complex topic, perhaps quantum physics or advanced mathematics. Instead of just highlighting passages or rereading paragraphs until your eyes glaze over, try explaining it aloud as if you're teaching someone else. This simple mindset shift triggers a profound cognitive journey. When you silently read material, your brain can easily trick you into believing you've mastered it. But the moment you try to articulate these concepts in your own words, the illusion shatters. Suddenly, the gaps in your understanding become glaringly obvious. It's in these moments of revelation that real learning begins. This teaching method works because it forces your brain to organize chaotic information into coherent structures. It's like trying to build a house. You can't just pile materials randomly. You need a blueprint, a foundation, and a logical sequence. Similarly, teaching demands that you create a framework for knowledge rather than just accumulating disconnected facts. Try this. After reading something important, step away from your notes and pretend you're explaining it to someone who knows nothing about the subject. You'll quickly discover which parts you truly understand and which parts remain fuzzy. These uncomfortable moments of uncertainty aren't failures. They're the exact points where breakthrough learning happens. But here's the ultimate test that separates true mastery from surface-level familiarity: the child test. If you can't explain a concept to a 6-year-old, you haven't really understood it yourself. This isn't about oversimplifying or removing nuance. It's about distilling complex ideas to their essential core. When Albert Einstein said, "If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough," he wasn't suggesting we dumb down sophisticated concepts. He was revealing a profound insight about the nature of comprehension. The ability to translate complexity into simplicity is the hallmark of true understanding. Consider how intimidating quantum physics sounds to most people. But what if I told you it's simply the study of how tiny particles behave according to their own special rulebook? Or that Einstein's theory of relativity essentially means time moves differently depending on how fast you're traveling. Suddenly, these imposing subjects become doorways to curiosity rather than walls of intimidation. This impact of simplification goes beyond just making learning easier. It completely rewires how your brain processes and retains information. When you translate complex ideas into accessible language, you're not just memorizing, you're integrating knowledge into your existing mental models. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring how our brain's resistance to effort sabotages our learning potential and why discipline might be the missing ingredient in your educational journey. Write in the comments, "I won't let my brain fool me," if you've ever experienced that moment of thinking you understood something only to draw a blank when trying to explain it later. The uncomfortable revelation about learning is that it requires something our modern world has trained us to: avoid consistent effort and discipline. You see, knowledge isn't a one-time transaction. It's more like tending a garden that needs daily care to flourish. The mindset shift here is profound. What separates masters from dabblers isn't talent or intelligence, but their relationship with discomfort. Your brain has a natural tendency to seek immediate gratification. It's why scrolling through social media for hours feels effortless, while focusing on a complex topic for 15 minutes can feel like climbing a mountain. This isn't a personal failure, it's biology. Our neural pathways are designed to conserve energy and seek pleasure. The path of least resistance is literally hardwired into our decision-making. Subscribe to continue this journey of uncovering the hidden mechanics of effective learning. I'm dedicated to bringing you science-backed strategies that help you master any subject faster and retain information longer, the kind of knowledge that creates real transformation. But here's the transformation that changes everything. True learning only happens when you push through resistance. Just as muscles grow stronger through the controlled stress of weight training, your cognitive abilities expand through deliberate challenge. Each time you return to a difficult concept, each time you practice explaining it again, you're essentially performing mental repetitions that strengthen neural connections. Think about language learning. You don't become fluent by studying vocabulary once. You achieve mastery through spaced repetition, returning to the material at increasingly longer intervals, reinforcing pathways just as they begin to fade. This deliberate practice creates permanent change in your brain's architecture. The journey to mastery requires what I call the embrace of discomfort, choosing the harder path not despite the difficulty, but because of it. When you feel that resistance, that mental fatigue, it's not a signal to stop. It's evidence that growth is happening. Behind the scenes of every overnight success story lies thousands of hours of consistent, often unglamorous effort. Yet discipline alone isn't enough. Without a compelling purpose, even the most disciplined person eventually falters. This brings us to the deepest driver of lasting learning: meaningful purpose. When someone asks why you're studying so hard, and your only answer is to pass the test, you've identified a temporary motivation that will evaporate the moment the test ends. Consider two scenarios. In the first, you're memorizing facts about climate science to pass an exam. In the second, you're learning the same material because you plan to develop solutions that might help save ecosystems. Same information, dramatically different impact on your retention and understanding. Purpose transforms obligation into passion. This purpose-driven approach creates a powerful feedback loop. Your clear why fuels consistent practice, which builds competence, which reinforces your sense of purpose. It's like building momentum that carries you through inevitable plateaus and challenges. The most successful learners aren't just disciplined, they're driven by something beyond themselves. Think of it as the difference between carrying rocks and building a cathedral. The physical labor might be identical, but the meaning behind the effort changes everything. When learning becomes part of a larger vision for your life and contribution to the world, discipline stops feeling like a burden and starts feeling like an investment. Let me ask you this: what if the key to unlocking your full potential isn't finding easier ways to learn, but finding a purpose so compelling that no obstacle seems insurmountable? Type "I choose discomfort" in the comments if you're ready to embrace the challenging path that leads to true mastery rather than settling for the illusion of understanding. So remember, true mastery isn't about how much information you consume. It's about how deeply you understand and can apply what you learn. When you combine simplification, teaching, discipline and purpose, you transform education from memorization into genuine wisdom that changes who you are. I hope this conversation has given you a new perspective on how your mind works and how you might approach learning differently tomorrow. If these ideas resonated with you, or if you caught yourself nodding along thinking about your own learning journey, I'd love to hear about it. Drop a comment saying, "My learning revolution starts now," so I know you made it to this point of discovery with me. This community is built around these kinds of insights, practical wisdom that helps us become better versions of ourselves. If you found value in today's exploration, consider subscribing to join us for more conversations that challenge conventional thinking and offer new pathways to growth. And if this resonated with you, a like helps these ideas reach others who might benefit just as you have. Speaking of growth, I've created a video right here that dives into how to overcome procrastination using some of these same brain-based principles. It pairs perfectly with what we've discussed today. Click on it and let's continue this journey of understanding how our minds really work. I'll see you there.